my chair properly. Excuse me.
Nor me. A bit sloppy.
Hey, we're
Hi,
back. We've gone
guys.
really bright again. That's okay.
Yeah, we can't do anything about it, really. So sorry we're a bit bright, guys. We are sort of...
It's a work in progress. We're doing our best.
We're trying, me and Lou moved them about, and at the time it looked like it worked, but how about shutting that curtain?
How about shutting that curtain? I just want to have a look at the fundraiser very quickly.
Let's have a look. Go on, you shut the
That's
curtain.
not the wrong one. You do that. Just go to the main PCP. You struggle, don't you?
Yeah.
We don't let Kat near the computer. Right, so I'm going to go to their
Just
main
having a look at
page.
the fundraiser, and it was on 6. Oh, right, okay, you want to look at the
So
main
R1 is on 8,144. So we've done 2,600.
No, 2,164.
Yes, exactly. But let's look at the main page of the total of the Public Protection Wales. 76,077. So that's what the fundraiser, but I don't know what it was on before. So.
And I do think some of that's already, even though it's not moved from there, might have already come out.
Oh no, look, we've had Diane Fitch, Paul's sister, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Diane.
Cherry Galena, thank you so much. Kim, Richard Vobes. Okay,
Amazing.
that's fine.
Thank
Amazing.
you guys.
Thank you so
for the
much.
donations. Keep sharing the fundraiser. You know, even if you do it a few times, it doesn't matter. Someone who you might not catch it the first time around. I do appreciate that we are censored, so that was a lot of the problem. But you know, anyone you know with big followings or whatever, whack it on the comment section. I don't know. Look, this information really does need to get out. So while people might argue the toss that it's irrelevant to go on, say a post about something else, it's not irrelevant because this is obviously for the kids. So just wherever you can post it, guys. Some digital warriors today and tomorrow for us would be absolutely amazing. Just
It really would. We're broadcasting across Facebook, Rumble, and YouTube.
Are we
amazingly.
still up on YouTube? We're
still up on YouTube. I can't believe it.
I know.
So we only opened the account the day before yesterday. Nothing's been posted on there apart from this live stream. So see. I don't know how it's going to go when we get later into the night, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I think with YouTube,
I do believe
as
we're
it
waiting for
goes,
Sandi
if
Adams
you
any minute.
if you go live, they don't actually censor you until you finish the live stream, and then they strike you and send you off. So we've only got to last a few more hours.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm just wondering where Sandi is, and guess what? I've just left my phone back in the toilet again, probably.
Right.
So we'll check on Sandi in a minute. I'm sure she'll be here. You might just have to poodle along next door and see if I've left it in there while she jumps up, and I can just get in touch with Sandi. Here she is. It's okay. Alarm over. Sandi's here. So Sandi, if you didn't know, has been campaigning and fighting. Originally, it was over Agenda 21 many years ago. She has since been recently very much on the central bank digital currencies and the whole green agenda. And she just has appeared. She didn't expect it to go viral. She just went into a town hall meeting. Did not expect.
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't even know it was Sandi.
I know. Well, she's here. Sandi. Originally, hello. Agenda 21 many years ago. She did very much on the central bank digital currencies and the whole green agenda. And she just...
But we've got feedback in here, though, anyway.
Yeah, because Sandi's obviously got it playing. She's a bit delayed, obviously.
Okay.
There we are. Oh, I've lost everything now. Oops.
We can hear you.
You can hear me. I can't see you guys at the moment. No.
Do you have the camera on?
I've got, oh, hang on.
Yeah, the camera should then show you.
Here we go. Poster teasing. No, that's the wrong one. No. Hang on.
We're live, so that's fine, Sandi. Everyone understands.
Okay.
There are live issues that always go on. At least we've stayed up. The first podcast we did, we were taken down within minutes of us starting. Literally minutes.
We've managed 4.5 hours on this one
with no technical issues.
Don't say it.
I know.
Hang on. I think I'll have to go back to. Hang on.
Why don't you reconnect? Just turn the volume off so you can't hear us. There are live issues that always go on. At least we stayed up. The first podcast we did, we were taken.
We'll sort it out now, guys.
Rick will sort it.
Yeah.
Rick's sitting there like I've got enough to do. So we are at 8,164.
64. But the extra 20 quid.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to have to put it
Can't
on.
stop about the 20 quid. So we've got Sandy's going to be back in a minute. Then we've got Sid Caudle. Sid has been on. Is it every podcast?
He has, yeah.
Every single
he was
podcast
last
I've
minute
got.
on the first one, if
Yeah.
you remember.
Oh,
He
that's
slotted
right.
in right last minute. And then he was on the last one as well.
Yeah, he's been brilliant, and he's been on the shows as well.
Because he did have money for us last time. If you remember.
Him
From the
and his Christian People's Alliance. He did a huge whip round for us. Let's see if we can get Sandy back. No, I don't think so, unless she can reconnect again.
I think it's a problem on her end. I think she's struggling.
Yeah.
Her end,
yeah.
yeah. This is always going to happen, guys. Always going to happen. There was going to be some sort of technical.
Ah, there she is.
Right.
Say something, Sandy.
Hiya.
Hooray!
Oh, fantastic, great. Okay, that's good. That's all good. It's great to be here, and thank you so much for asking me on. And I'm just absolutely amazed at how much you're doing and raising awareness on this. And you've all been so amazing for such a long time. And I'm kind of not new to it, because I've known it's been part of the agenda, and I've been really on Agenda 2030 for many, many years, and fighting every sort of level. And this is another level of it, unfortunately, as we know. And it is an insidious and horrible plan, really, and well funded, as Nigel mentioned earlier. It's not a grassroots kind of let's be embracing of everybody's whatever culture or whatever everybody's belief systems or whatever. This is a very well crafted agenda to destroy if you like, the human and the two sexes, as we know. So yeah, I'm just here really to talk about how it relates also to transgenderism, which is kind of the aim of this whole agenda, and why we're here now, and why we're seeing this in such a way that people have realized now that it's everywhere. And before it wasn't. It was, it was, but it was under the radar. Now it's in our faces. It's always been there, but it's in our faces now. And looking at everything that's happened, and how, our children, are our future, as Richard Vobe said this morning. And, listening to Nigel and how well it's been funded by Stonewall, and all the big corporations have got their fingers in all this, Open Society, this is, George Soros. It's all been so well funded. And it's, if we let this happen, it will destroy generations, because you abuse one child, it abuses generations of children and people. And this is what it's meant to do, unfortunately, which is why we have to stop it, isn't it? So yeah, I'm just really looking at all the different ways that they're trying to really put this through. I mean, years ago, when a baby was born, everybody'd say, what sex is it? Boy or girl? Lovely. Now it's assigned a gender. They are assigned a gender. Literally, AFAB is, assigned female at birth, or AMAB, assigned male at birth. How this is kind of now referred to, sex is now gender assigned at birth, which is kind of weird, isn't it? It means that it's kind of, it's designated, and it pretends really at some point that it can be changed. And that's the idea. It's actually wanting to create something that, this child has been assigned this at birth, but later on we can change that. We can change that to whatever we want. And that's that really is the nub of it. And my daughter's a midwife, and between them they say, oh yes, it's a boy or a girl, but the paperwork is different. And that's the problem, because it's all being brought in and normalized. And if we normalize all of this and we accept it, we're going down a very, very dark road, as we know. And you hopefully, I mean, I've been reading about Kinsey and all of that stuff, which I was, you know more about it than I do, but I was horrified at where the a lot of the information that they're using in Wales to put this forward is from Alfred Kinsey, who is very questionable. I mean, a paedophile actually, and doing all these terrible experiments. And you just think, well, what happened there? How did Kinsey become so important in all of this? And it's because, he's got the information that they can use, I guess. I mean, you know more about it than I do.
Kat is the Kinsey.
Yeah, tell us about it.
To say the Kinsey expert.
I know it is. It feels awful as well because I know so much about him. But Kinsey was a big. We know there were many players before him, but he was a key player in the sexual liberation movement, and that is where the start of all this, really, this open society and freedom to be whatever you want, and this free sex industry was built off the back of Kinsey's work data, which was the sexual abuse and torture of children, obviously. So, and that is actually where the WHO, the World Health Organization, and the UN get their definition of sexual from birth from, hence why they have it in school now from age 3, because these people believe we are sexual beings from in the womb, to quote the WHO document, in the womb.
I mean, we spoke to Brian the other night, which we'll be playing out
tomorrow,
yeah. And he does tell us something very, very horrific, which I'm not going to talk about now. But it's, it is, they do believe that children are sexual in the womb. They don't believe
there's any such thing as what we call childhood innocence. But I would beg to differ there on so many levels. Of course, there's childhood innocence. But these people that have fed these ideologies down from, well, before Kinsey, but like I say, Kinsey, he was the one who made pornography mainstream. And then you had Hugh Hefner that came along, which was Kinsey's pamphleteer. He absolutely idolized Kinsey. He thought he was a god. So then that's when he started Playboy. And then you've got the pornography industry, which feeds human and child trafficking. And we all go down this road. So the sexual revolution then was basically a big player was Alfred Kinsey, and that is where we get this sex ed from. But I know people don't know this. They're not aware of it. As much as we've tried to expose it, you've just found out about it. Do you know what I mean? And this was years and years ago. So people are not aware of it. And if they were, I don't think we'd be sat here needing to do this podcast-a-thon, to be honest with you.
Exactly. I mean, that's the problem, is that I think it's raising awareness of where all this is coming from and where it's going to as well. I mean, the very fact that transgenderism is actually so linked to transhumanism. And when you look at what's rolling out, with Agenda 2030 and the AI and the whole thing about the Internet of Bodies, which is where the WEF used to, I don't know whether they still do on their website because I haven't looked at it for a while, but they used to have a whole page on the Internet of Bodies, which is merging the human with the AI.
I knew nothing about this one.
I've seen something about it.
You don't know about this? Well, yeah, we have the Internet of Things, which is how they sort of how everything talks to each other in for instance, a smart city. And beyond that, they have the Internet of Bodies, which is really how they interface the humans with the AI. And it's called the Internet of Bodies. Do look it up. It's even on the you can look
I
at it.
think I've read it on that document. I think I've read that.
In a way, if you can get rid of sex, you're almost halfway there, because this whole androgyny thing is really what they're aiming for. And androgyny is, if you have binary, obviously you have male and female, and then you have with the non-binary, what they're pushing is non-binary, and that gender fluidity, or whatever you want to call it. It means that you've got something in between, anything in between that. And so anything in between could actually be androgyny, which means sexless. You can choose, you can flow anywhere between those two parameters of male and female, as Nigel was speaking about. The whole sort of gender identity and gender expression becomes the new identity, if you like. But that's so fluid, which is why you can see so much if you like, that girl that we saw in the film earlier, she doesn't know who she is because she's not one or the other. She's somewhere floating in between. That's why she doesn't know who she is, because she doesn't know who she is, because she isn't who she is. As quite clearly said. And this isn't being in any way judgmental over people who possibly really do feel that they want to be in a different body, and they go and have all the the surgery. But when it's pushed as an agenda, that is the problem. People have the right to choose, but if it's being pushed to underage children, and pushed to children who are not even in puberty, and given puberty blockers, that's where it becomes really, really serious, because those are not, they're not adults. Adults can do whatever they like, reason. But when it's pushed onto children, and there is a big move to push it onto children, which is why you're here today, obviously. So the whole thing of taking healthy breasts and amputating them, and taking healthy testicles and castrating them, is somehow under the duty of care is nonsense, in my view. Because it can't be reversed. And what happens is, I do have a friend whose daughter, she didn't have the surgery in the end, but she did go for the for the hormones, and you can't reverse that. And now she doesn't know who she is, because she has a deep voice, she has hair growing on her body, and yet she's still a woman. And so it's completely messed her up. She wishes she'd never started on that. And that was through going to university and feeling lonely. And she was taken in by, the LGBT community. They made her feel wanted and looked after. And she went down that route. And now she wishes she hadn't. She's left all that behind her, and it screws them up.
And these are the type of victims, I'm going to say, that don't get heard now. The people who are saying, I've made a mistake. These are the ones that they've completely shut down, and they're not allowing us to see, because they want all the kids to see the glamorous side. Not that there is a glamorous side, but look how cool and funky. And like you say, we've had this conversation over and over, where it's in the universities, in the schools as well, but particularly in the universities, where they're away from their family, and they're being the family's being torn apart by it, literally being torn apart by it, and it's coming through the school system out into the uni. And it's if you already feeling insecure about something, especially a girl, this is why there are more female to male transitioners, and they all fall within that sort of adolescent bracket, because they're still adolescents.
I posted a video quite a while ago, and I'll try and find it and I'll send it to Rick. And it's a trans girl, she's in the LGBT community, and she went over to the cameras and she said, they were questioning about the LGBT. She goes, look, when I was young, I was really, really confused, about life and everything. And it was these people here that helped me realise who I was. And you're just like,
it's sad, because
you've just told everybody that you've been groomed by this community. If they're going in and there are people confused and everything else, and the people with the sinister, the good people, they won't. They will let people be. But if there are people behind this sinister agenda who want everyone to be within their community, they're going to nurture these people who are lost.
But if they change their mind, they don't want to know then, and that's the thing.
Support them.
Exactly. And what teenager isn't sort of confused a little bit? You have all those changes going on in your body, and and then you're at school, and you've got to pass exams, and then you go to university, and you're isolated from your peer groups that you knew before. It is a very, very insecure time. When you're between puberty and going to university, you're very, very insecure. I remember what I was like. You're shy, you're awkward, and if somebody starts sort of taking you onto their wings, saying, look, we're your new family, this is what you're doing, that's the problem. And this is why we do have a problem with the propaganda that's going out.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. I remember, because I used to run a business where I live. I used to have a music venue, and we used to run talks from there. We got approached by the local LGBTQ community, and they said, "Oh, would you let us have a night as a part of the community?" And I was running this community type space with music and what have you, and so I thought, just let them have their night. That's fine, And I let them. I just sort of closed the door. I didn't really go in there. It was all a little bit strange. But they had their night, and afterwards they said, "Oh, could we do it regularly?" And I said, "Well, maybe once a month or something." And then they got a bit heavy with me, and they said, "And what are you going to do for the LGBT community?" And I said, "Well, I've given you a night. You can have once a month." But they started pushing it, and they said, "We're talking toilets here," and I said, "No." That's where I've drawn the line. No, we've got male toilets, female toilets. No. Yeah. And they got really, really stroppy with me. And they said, you're not supporting, the community, and we can do something about this. We can force your hand. And I said, you can do what you like, but you can wave goodbye to any more nights here if you're going to see me. And they got very, very heavy about toilets. And I said, I'm sorry, there's a men's toilet and there's a female toilet. If a man has a penis, I'm sorry, he's going into
exactly.
He's, if he, I don't care what he's wearing or what he says he is, he's going into I'm not going to upset my customers. And that was considered really hateful. I was demonized because of that. It's unbelievable, really.
I mean, a lot of pressure and bullying, isn't it?
It's just, as we keep saying, it is insanity. It is absolute insanity what is going on right now in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, say, it was starting to seep in the whole agenda. It was cool to be LGBT, right? And then they started adding things onto it. But that was where it all started, and it was cool. But now, say 20 years ago, anybody who said they wanted, they believed they're in a man's body, they would have to go and see doctors. They would have to go to see psychiatrists. Mm-hmm. It would be a very long, drawn out process. It was classed as a mental health issue. But now that's all done away with. I mean, how much they're talking about it to 3 and 4 year olds. I mean, it's
dangerous.
10 to 15 years ago, you're just like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it is weird. I mean, it's an unnatural agenda. I'm not saying the people that are involved in it. I think that there's a massive propaganda machine pushing this agenda, and a lot of people are accepting it because maybe they do feel a little bit, a bit different and a bit, and they're vulnerable people at the end of the day. But behind this, when you think of transgenderism and transhumanism ideologies, they're very similar because it's about redefining humans. It's about promoting androgyny, and it's really a contempt of, or even hatred of organic bodies, male bodies, and that's a bit worrying. And everything they're doing is an experiment on the people. This whole thing is almost like a social experiment, and it's pretty, it's very dark in my view. And when you're trying to redefine what it means to be human, how does transgenderism redefine humans? It's taking biological sex at the core of what it means to be human, and just taking that away. So there's something really skewed here, because we know that it's more that being a man or a woman is more than biology.
Yes.
It defines who you are, and if you feel that you're not rightly assigned, a lot of that could be because of this almost like social contagion telling us that they're not what they are, and to tell tiny ones, you can be anything you like. You can be a boy, you can be a girl. When I was at school, we had girls who were tomboys.
Yeah,
I was one. I was.
Tomboy. I used to climb trees and do all that stuff, but it didn't mean that I wanted to be a man or a boy or whatever. It just means that I like doing boyish things, and I felt really comfortable with the blokes. And I bet you were like that, Lou. You seem like a bit of a boy.
I was as well. I was a tomboy. It didn't mean, like you say, it didn't mean anything. And in fact, it's the tomboys now who are being targeted the most, because they've gone for that. They say, you're stereotypically doing the things a boy would do. Maybe you're trans. Put all this information in front of them to confuse them all. And they're going to go with it, and they are doing this. The statistics tell us that they are, and it's devastating.
We go back again. I'm sorry to say this, that the little ones are also little girls. When you don't need to have the mum and daughter lady talk about what's going to happen once a month. They're talking. You don't need to be talking to your 3 and 4 year old about that. They don't need to know about it. Not even your 6 and 7 year old need to know, really. Not even your 9 and 10 need to know about that, really, because usually it's around 11, 12, 13.
Yeah, it is younger now,
unfortunately, but that's to do with the plastics, the BPAs and everything else. But that's
so. But even so,
But these little ones are being told at a young age that when they get older, they're going to start bleeding and things, and they're petrifying these little kids.
This is awful.
It's abuse.
Awful. It is abuse.
And of course, they're going to choose to be a boy if they think they're going to bleed.
Exactly.
I mean, what earth are they thinking? This is that again. It is a form of abuse. It's
criminal. It's criminal. These people should be put in prison.
It's outrageous.
It is outrageous.
This is an assault on our children. And I'm a mother, but my children are in their 30s now. I have 2 grandchildren, one of 3 and one of 6. And I would be, at the moment, they're not talking about this, is that the 6-year-old goes to church school and the little one's at nursery. But, they're of that age where if they were in a school that was promoting this, I know they'd get really confused and really, children they're coming back.
I'm confused by it as an adult.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We sat here with Slipmat and read him one of the books that were going to 4-year-olds.
And I was like, I can't even get my head
confused.
around that. Do you know what I mean?
Understand it.
So to teach it to kids is just bizarre. They should be learning their ABCs.
Yeah.
But they're taking all that away, though, aren't they? They've dropped what?
Yeah. So in Wales, our 4 mandatory subjects, and always were, even when I was younger, was English, Welsh, maths, and science. Well, they've dropped maths and science as mandatory core subjects for the Welsh curriculum and replaced them with this, relationships and sexuality education, and religions, values, and ethics. So basically what they're saying is teaching about gender ideology and teaching them sex from young is much more beneficial to them than maths and biology, which is what this is really about. The irony of that is we used to learn it in biology, in a science lesson. So now that is gone and they've replaced it with this nonsense.
Isn't that funny? Because it's the biology that they don't want.
Exactly. So they
That's
took
it,
the biology.
Absolutely.
Oh, we don't need that. We just give you this instead. But this is the new biology. This is the new God.
It's completely skewed. And what also is awful is that, as you said, PHSE, or whatever they used to call it before, was integrated as a different, it was a lesson, and you could take your child out if you didn't.
But they've removed that option.
Removed that, so it was a standalone lesson. It used to be.
When I tried to do that at my school, when Jack was at school, and he didn't go, and I did pull them out of it. They made me feel so guilty, though. Well, they really put up. And then after Jack learned at 6 about vaginas, that's what he came home and said about vaginas. I learned about vaginas today, Mummy. Like, what? Yeah, obviously I went absolutely, you can imagine. And the teacher, when I had the meeting, he's going to feel all on his own, and he's going to be singled out because no other parent has come to us about this other than you. And I'm like, it's not your job to decide when Jack's ready to know about this sort of thing. It's not your job. That's my job.
You didn't even know about it.
And I didn't even know. Yeah. They didn't even send her, a consent form If you decided, we sent a letter, well, why didn't you send a consent form? And then the letters that you didn't have come back, you'd get in touch with those parents and let them know.
Yeah.
No. So they're going to give 6-year-olds letters to make sure they're, yeah, right.
I know.
Like, did I ever get a single letter come back in my son's bag from school? No.
So that was probably the beginning of it, really, then, because then after that, they were like, soon. Obviously, they tested the water a bit now, and then obviously now
the parents are lazy. They don't.
But it's not a standalone lesson anymore. So it's in all of the curriculum. So you can't, even if you wanted to opt your child out, you don't actually know when it's going to be being taught. No. And it is most of the time, actually. The curriculum is so, the resources that I've looked through, there's just loads and loads of them. They're making a big deal out of this as if it's the number one subject to be learning, and it's just mental. And this is why we're seeing the results of it. There are so many people I've seen comments on Facebook, and people who've spoken to me personally, that that in the whole class they were like, so these are kids now, maybe 9-10-year-olds, in the whole class there might be one child who doesn't identify as one of the other LGBTQ whatever. That's nuts.
It is, and it's you. The more I look at it, the more I realise that it's actually, because it's so well funded, and so it's so anti-human and certainly anti-nature, that it is part of this hideous transhumanist technocratic world that they want us to live in. Yeah. And that isn't that, in no way am I exaggerating that, because they really want androgyny, and to move more into the cyber world. And if you talk to the normal person on the street, they wouldn't believe you. But if you look at this agenda and you do look into it, and I'll read you something about post-genderism, because it's on Wikipedia as well, that post-genderism is now a term. Now that's worrying. Post-genderism.
So hang on. So can we define what that actually means?
Yeah. All right. Post-genderism is a social, political, and cultural movement which arose from the eroding of the cultural, psychological, and social role of gender, and an argument for why the erosion of binary gender will be liberatory. Post-genderists argue that gender is an arbitrary and unnecessary limitation on human potential, and foresee the elimination of involuntary psychological gendering in the human species as a result of social and cultural designations, and through the application of neurotechnology, biotechnology, and assistive reproductive technologies. That means getting rid of women having babies.
Yeah.
Now that is Wikipedia's term for post-genderism, which actually is, a term that they use, if you want to say the people that are promoting all of this. And what they really, it is a form of, if you like, sort of moving into this whole eugenics, 2030 goals of depopulation, and the creation of human stratification, where they literally want to put people in these boxes, and they don't reproduce. And so the term, they will try very soon to normalize the meaning of post-genderism, because that is the goal.
It sounds a bit like a Brave New World, Sandy. I don't know
darling, it is. This is what's so absolutely awful, is that we're moving so swiftly into this into this sort of awful Brave New World sci-fi, if you like. And if we don't stop it, then it is the end of the human condition. And I've been kind of banging on about this for so long now. But the human, we have to remain human, and we have a battle at the moment to remain human. Yeah. And I've talked about this at all the 2030 talks, with the burgeoning sort of awful march towards this AI agenda, which will be the end of the humans.
It will.
The problem we have, as you said, they are so very well funded, and we've got to stand up to do anything, to do stuff. But people aren't doing it. There is no movement to counteract this.
No.
People are doing their little bits. The only people at the moment who we can honestly say is Public Child Protection Wales.
Yes.
But we are having to sit here for 36 hours to beg people to help support it. And it's there at the moment. They're the only thing that's standing in the way of full on. They're the ones who are going to be stopping it and helping the whole of the UK do.
Exactly.
And
this
it's
is
so
why
difficult
so
that we have to
important.
sit here and do this and plead for money. We don't want to be sitting here pleading for money. We want to be.
Do you know what? This is why it's so important that this case is won. And I think, we need to, and I will be behind you 100%, because I can see that this is really it is the slow, it's not slow anymore. It's a march to post-genderism, which is really and actually Wikipedia also say that the post-genderism has its roots in transhumanism. It says post-genderism is a cultural phenomenon that has roots in feminism, masculism, along with the androgyny, metrosexual, technosexual, and gender movements. However, it has been through the application of transhumanist philosophy that post-genderists have conceived the potential for actual morphological changes to the members of the human species, and how now future humans in a post-gender society will produce in this sense. It is an offshoot of transhumanism, posthumanism, and futurism. And it says here, in the 19th century, Russian philosopher Nikolai Chernevsky believed that people will be happy when there will be neither man nor woman. Well, that's what he thinks.
And you know what? We know what Klaus Schwab says: we own nothing, and you'll be happy. Yeah. But again, this agenda has the finances of people like Klaus Schwab, George Soros, these big corporations.
They definitely.
And powerful. What is there? What is up there fighting? Lou and Kat sitting on air for 36 hours trying to raise money to fight the agenda that we've got. So Kimberly and everyone can continue fighting the agenda against George Soros. There is more.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we're never going to have that amount of power, like in terms of money.
But we do need big people who believe it's wrong to get up and not pump money specifically into Kimberly and put it into raise awareness. Put your money and back it up, and let's fight it on, because these 5 parents can't do it all themselves.
No,
and they can't do it. And it's not fair to do it.
Organisations all over, actually, like in England, there are some as well.
Yeah, we don't hear about it, and there's no one has got as far as what Kimberly and Public Child Protection Wales has.
And all they need is an army behind them. That's it.
It needs to be a movement.
Exactly.
There needs to be a whole movement,
and I think this is probably the start of it.
And it's something we can find common ground on as well.
Definitely.
No matter what faith you're from, no matter even what sexual orientation, even if you're gay, because it's the gay community. The gay
lot of gays against this. There's a lot of gays against this.
Exactly. It's like not in our name.
As well.
And quite rightly, they, this is really something that you have to look at it, and it shouldn't be that we're begging for money to pay for this court case. I think raising awareness, you're doing such a brilliant job because of this, because of having to pay the court cost. You're raising so much awareness, and that's got to be a good thing. And I think really the tide will start turning now. I
think so. Already, we were talking earlier with Paul Fitch, who we've been Facebook friends for about 12 years, and before the censorship, this would have been done and have sorted. But we have now completely. It's insane. It like nobody sees. We are completely censored. We're talking about the bottom of the news. We're long past the bottom of the news feeds. Nothing gets seen. Nothing. None of our content. Really everywhere we go, the PayPal took us down. We're not allowed PayPal. I mean, how we're still up on YouTube and they haven't rumbled it that it's really up. I just don't.
A brand new account though.
Don't know, but. It's very difficult, Sandy, with the awareness that we could have raised before all the censorship.
Yeah. The censorship is awful, and Richard's had it. Richard Vobes, he was taken down for mentioning something, I can't remember what. My Facebook was taken down completely. I've had my YouTube channel hacked, my website hacked. I'm still trying to rebuild a lot of it, but the censorship is a real thing. The only thing that I'm on now is Twitter, and I do push all of this on Twitter. How long I'll be able to, who knows? This they really are trying to shut us down, because it's such a well-funded agenda, and I can't believe that we've got these sociopaths, these psychopaths in charge of these NGOs that are pushing this through, and whoever it is above them. I mean, who would want the end of the human race? And I can only assume that these people are, really, really evil. The rise of the transgenderism really proves, sociobiologists with the evidence of almost creating a new species, and that's that we don't need a new species. We've got a species.
Don't want it either, do we?
Why would you create a sort of androgynous species?
Because it's a satanic agenda.
Artificial children, because you hate us. They hate us.
This is a satanic agenda. That we are living in Sodom and Gomorrah. We are literally there, and we're going to be having Sid Caudle on later, Christian People's Alliance, and we're really going to delve deep into this, because it is a satanic agenda. This is a spiritual fight on, like, full on,
without a doubt.
Full on, absolutely. And I would really I'll do everything I can to help and push this, and come and speak and do anything you want me to do. But I just feel that, if everybody can, just put some money towards it. I will be making a donation later. I'm sorry, I've only just got back from Brighton, so I haven't had a chance to do it yet. But I will be making a donation later, like Richard did. Just to really, galvanise the fact that I'm behind you, all of you.
Yeah, well, we've gone up a bit now. We've got 8,214. So that's 6,214. Do you want to say about the 20 quid, Kat?
No,
you sure you don't want to mention the 20 quid?
In my head.
You've got it in your head. You work that out then. So we're up to 6,200.
Great.
We're up to 2,214 for this campaign. So we want to try and get that figure up to 10,000 in an hour. So we need...
That's like we need £8,000.
No, we need £2,000. It would be nice if we could get £2,000 in before 6 o'clock tonight.
And then you've got tomorrow as well, which is
and tomorrow night.
I do realise is longer than today anyway, isn't it?
It's going to be very long tomorrow, and we're very composed. And the thing is, we'll forget that we are actually together at points of the time of the day, Sandy. But judging how it went last time and how it's feeling like it could go that way today. I think it's got a feeling that we may end up
3 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So how long are you going to go on tomorrow? You're going to go on till midday?
No, 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and then maybe later. But we've got a couple of movies to take it up to the 36 hours.
Good.
So this time tomorrow, we'll be finishing up. So we've nearly gone. We've done 5 hours so far today.
Yeah.
So we've got the long night, which we're usually okay during the night.
We're all right.
Early hours in the morning is when we just sink to delirium. So May the 17th. I don't know if you saw earlier, Sandy. It would be amazing if you could come up and join us at Parliament.
I'll definitely. Well, actually, hang on a minute. May the 17th. Oh God, I'm actually going somewhere, but I'll see what I can do. Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll send you a flyer and you could get it around on Twitter and stuff. So what else, Sandy? What else have you actually been up to? And the responses as well from Glastonbury. We want to talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's been quite interesting because I just went to the town hall to just voice my you're only allowed 3 minutes to talk in your local town hall. They have an egg timer to make sure that you don't go over. And I was just going to speak about 15-minute cities, although, my town is small enough to walk everywhere within 15 minutes. But, it was really to voice about also the low traffic neighbourhoods, because some great big planters arrived in town. So, not to take up too much time, because we want to keep on track with the children, but I just literally turned up to speak for the 3 minutes, but 200 people turned up at the town hall because they thought there was going to be some talk about 15-minute cities. So you could see that the people were, quite concerned about it. And again, it's all part of this agenda of locking people up and freedom of movement and, everything that we try and raise awareness about. So and because I've been on the smart city thing for a long time, it's a soft smart city, all of this is a soft transhumanism agenda. It's all soft to get you into the big agenda. So I sort of started to talk, and I just ran away with it, and they listened. And I'd also printed some stuff out for them to look at, things like the Absolute Zero document that says there's no flying out of the UK after 2030, no imports or exports after 2030. And this is a government document. And they were all a little bit shocked. But what happened is that they listened and they let me go over the 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And suddenly I didn't realize it was being filmed. Apparently they all film it now and put it onto YouTube, the town councils. And within, a day, it had sort of millions and millions of sort of likes all over the world. And it was so bizarre. It even got into Truth Social. So it was really weird how it all happened. And since that's when they took my Facebook page down, because it went onto the Facebook page, and they don't like things like that, because I just really set out exactly what the agenda was in 12 minutes. And everyone was, and I did mention also, about the the gaming industry, with how the gaming, which is affecting our children, is really a soft way of getting them into the metaverse. And again, if they're disenfranchising their sexuality, they can also the whole idea of the metaverse is for people to experience life through a virtual reality headset. Which is again another part of this agenda, which we have to fight, is getting children off all the devices, and not making it sort of, if you like, what the idea is that you can disembody them, so they're not in their bodies, they're actually living in an alternative reality and an alternative sexuality, if you like. So if you do that, if you take a child away from its physical reality and its if you like its sexual reality, then it's very easy to morph and almost get rid of the human, human
you're right.
biology, if you like, because you've got an avatar that represents you in the metaverse, and the metaverse is upon us. Children are actually functioning and playing games in the metaverse, and you can buy things in the metaverse, and Visa and MasterCard have set up payment plans in the metaverse. You can buy real estate in the metaverse. I mean, it's ludicrous. The whole thing is beyond crazy. It's beyond crazy. And what can we humans do? We have to just don't comply. Just say no to it. We have to fight for our children. We have to fight for everything that we can to remain human in our bodies, with our sexuality, with our biology, so that we can actually have, humans in the future. Let's not give in to all this nutty
nonsense.
It is nutty nonsense.
Nutty, absolute nonsense. And the thing is, we have to talk about it, Sandy. This is, again, it's a very, very difficult subject. People don't want to talk about it. They kind of close down, not now. But if not now, when?
Yeah.
Now, as we kept saying, everyone's on and on about the COVID, the 5G.
No, that's all historical. And it's not historical. 5G is ongoing. The COVID it should never have happened. We know,
but if we can have that energy,
we can't.
And that people talking about even just for one day, everyone focusing on the bloody children.
Well, let's do it. Let's have an event. Let's make it happen. Let's have a big.
Well, that's what we were trying to. That's what we tried to achieve. But again, we are so censored. Nobody's probably. We know there's lots of loyal people watching Facebook, YouTube, our website, and Rumble. But we should. This figure should just be going up, and understand that. It's going to court funds. Lucia was here with us this morning. We've raised 2,214. On this podcast-athon so far. We're going to be sitting here, we're going to be begging for money until the very end of it, so the court costs and everything can be covered by us people who care.
Well, we can only do what we can do.
We can only do what we can with the tools that we have. The thing is,
there's a lot of people will be out this weekend, it's bank holiday,
but
when the things are broken down and it's on, when they're watching it back,
And the individual sections,
because if you remember on the second podcast-athon, we had a lot of it after we'd done it.
Yes.
So it's like when people, because that was broken down into
that's true.
sections, wasn't it? So I'm thinking we'll get more as people watch it later down the line, because it's a lovely day as well.
It is a nice
so
day.
Chances are they're out with the families and whatever, but they'll hopefully tune it. You know, we can share all these, and hopefully everybody who's been on can share them as well. Do you know what I mean?
And it's just across. I mean, it's great that we've got people like Richard Vobes coming up, Sandi. You know, who's new to the truth community. That he's absolutely being fantastic.
He's
supporting all of us and what he can do.
Yeah. He's got such a good reach now, and you know, I although I've been on the agenda for a long time, I haven't yet sorted out my podcasting, which I'm doing at the moment. So I will be talking more about this on my own podcasts. So I'm setting that up now. I'm just getting my head around the technology, and I'm really bad.
Oh yeah, we feel for you.
Yeah, we feel for you. Jason's left at the moment, and if anything goes wrong now, I don't know what we're going to do, because Rick's up in Bristol. We're just going to wing it until Jason gets back. So Sandi, any other ideas, any other thoughts? I mean, you've seen Kimberly speak, the absolute powerhouse she is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we put our thinking caps on, and I'm absolutely 100% behind it. You know, I've done I'm not masses of research, but you don't need to. It's so there.
It is so there.
What's going on, and you know, understanding, you know, the ideology behind it, and where it's coming from, and where it could potentially go. You know, the whole idea of the whole post-genderism is absolutely horrendous, and because they've talked about interfacing, you know, us with, you know, machines, and you know, the cyborg type thing, you know, and people think, well, you're mad talking about that, but it's there. I mean, it's not a conspiracy theory. If you go onto the World Economic Forum's website and type in Internet of Bodies, it all comes up. You know, this is what they plan. These people are mad. They are, honestly, I think they're clinically insane. And the whole thing at the end of it is the promise of eternal life. That's what they think. They think that by creating these alternative realities, that they will be able to live forever. Now, this is, you know, again, it's a crazy theory that where they're playing God. They think they are God. If you listen to Yuval Harari, he clearly thinks he's God.
Oh, he's disgusting.
So does Elon Musk. They think they're gods, and you know, they have a long way to go. They really do need pulling off their perches, because, you know, they are human. They will, you know, succumb to all the stuff that humans succumb to, and living forever would be an absolute nightmare. You know?
Exactly.
And I just want to say, Richard Vobes in the comments is obviously watching, and he says to say that you always talk a lot of sense, Sandi, and that's come from Richard Vobes right now live. So thank you also, Richard, for sharing this. It is being censored. It says there's only 12 people watching it on YouTube.
Really?
It says that we've got 12 people apparently watching on YouTube, which I don't believe that.
I don't believe that. Surely not.
No. They will mess about with them.
They mess about with it. We've got 45 on Rumble.
That's not bad.
We're just so censored, and we know Liberty Tactics. I don't know how many are watching on Liberty Tactics. I don't think it tells me. Can't look. And then we've got people streaming it on the website as well. But you know, it's been a free weekend. There was an event, I think, a week ago, where there were people having to pay £20-30 to watch it online, when they've got about 6 speakers, and people were paying that. I presume they must have covered all their costs and everything. We're not asking for a penny, other than a bit of change maybe that's in people's pockets. Like we did the £3 challenge. We raised quite a bit with that.
We did, actually. We just didn't carry it on, did we?
No.
Just assumed people would carry it on, but people forget. We have to keep reminding them, I guess. But yeah, £3, you'd find that on the back of your sofa, wouldn't you?
Exactly. Sandi, I wonder if Sandi's got any fundraising tips on how we can get this out further and get some more donations in to help these parents.
Well, I mean, I think, gosh, I mean, this is great. I'm not sure. Maybe we need to think about other ways of fundraising. Have all sorts of, different. I think we need to put our thinking caps on.
Yeah, we have done quite a lot of fundraising
they have done
as well.
Yeah.
You know, we've done the podcast-athons, but you had like, they did the 3 peaks, which were the 3 mountains in Wales in 24 hours. We've had skate-athons, we've had 140-mile walks. You know, we've done there's been you know, healing nights, there's been skate-athons.
There was an auction, wasn't there, as well?
There's been, you know, nights out as well. You know, we had the auction at last week, I think it was, or the week before. So, you know, there are people doing what they can, and we've got a skate-athon actually coming up on the 13th of May. I forgot to mention that, on Aberavon Beach, but it's basically a 12-hour skate-athon. Whether that be skates, scooters, skateboards, bikes, whatever. And for 12 hours in their teams, somebody has to be skating the whole time. So they're doing it on Aberavon Beach, but anyone in the country can do that wherever they want to do it. So if they've got a promenade,
no, I can't.
Darren and Grace are really good skaters. They can't wait. So we did a 24-hour one last time, but we're going to do a 12-hour one, and that's going to be, I think, 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening, because it's light both ends then. So yeah, anything really, coffee.
I'm just thinking, because when I did that when I did that thing at the town hall, I then got something did come of it, and this could be a way of raising money, is that like a grassroots organization got in touch with me, and they go out a stand in the park, and they're called UK Citizen.org, and they've got cells all over the country, and we've put together, you know, information packs to give to the town councils challenging net zero, because that's another thing that a lot of it hinges on, is anthropogenic global warming and the whole net zero, getting rid of humans, basically. Again, it's a similar thing. It's you know, net carbon is, you know, zero carbon is zero us.
Exactly.
So that network is amazing. There's you know, it's cells all over the country. And it's, you know, if you do want to challenge a council, you know, go to ukcitizen.org. But I will be talking to everyone about this, and how we can raise awareness, and possibly, you know, we can raise money in each of those areas, perhaps, you know.
Maybe the town councillors around the country also need to know more about this education.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be very happy to push that one in the local, you know, sort of, because we're, you know, our council is mainly green. It's a green majority. And all of this is actually being pushed by the green agenda as well, you know, sort of like, we have the LGBTQ flag flying sometimes over the town hall, and you just think, you know, what can you do to?
It's very cult-like, isn't it? Very
really cult-like.
And it's not about censoring people who are gay or in anything. You know, it's not about that. I mean, it's about understanding what the agenda is and where it's going, and how the darkest place it could go to is getting rid of man and woman and anything biological. You know, that's the end game, and that's what we have to. I know it's a depressing thought, and
but it has to be spoken about.
It says really depressing stuff, but all I'm trying to do is rally people to actually take action and try and stop it, because this is really important. This is one of the most important agendas that we could possibly, you know, be talking about, because it's so pernicious, and how it can and so desperately awful for the children to be having this foisted on them at such an early age. My heart, honestly, it makes me cry. I can't bear it.
It is. It's really, it is. It's a very dangerous time, and it seems to be happening on the double now, doesn't it? Like, it's really increased in intensity and speed, and the damage is already done to a degree. You know, and this is like a damage limitation exercise as well for the people that have been, you know, harmed with this agenda along the way. And there's many victims, and there'll be many more, unfortunately.
And it's to attack us on every level, and as if we're not being attacked on, you know, this is one of the worst ones, because it really is messing with the minds of the generations.
That's
the way to destroy us, isn't it? It's very clever way of destroying us. So we have to be mindful and understand what's going on, and in every way we need to raise awareness about this. And it's not cool, it's being presented as some kind of cool and safeguarding, and it's nothing to do with safeguarding. It is
nothing at all. Well, the opposite is true, isn't it? We're putting them straight in harm's danger.
That's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly.
Yeah, it's inversion. So we have to just do whatever we can to stop it. And I'm totally behind you now.
I mean, it's a bit like, we've got to make these teachers, let's make it personal, as we say, get these teachers to stand accountable, like with the doctors and the nurses who were giving the jibby jab to people, being paid for it to do that. These people need to stand accountable, and the people that are enforcing this education in the schools, the teachers, they need to be called out. And I know in some schools, teachers are getting a bit of the rap and being called names, aren't they? Some, there are some, but that's more for secondary schools, that they're kind of, there are kids fighting back. But then obviously those kids are going to end up, probably being reported to the police because they dare, miss, whatever, what I'm saying.
Well, it could be as simple as notices of liability, holding them personally liable for any things that might come to their children, or, not that you want to let it get to that stage, but if they know that they're going to be personally liable for harms, then maybe they'll think again.
One example needs to be set, I guess, doesn't it? And they'll think twice about what they're doing then, because at the moment they've got the support of the big lobbying groups and these big NGOs who've got money to throw and burn. They're being propped up by those, aren't they?
Well, Sandi, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much, Sandi. It was lovely speaking to you.
And you. And
we'll do something like next week or something once we've rested, and we'll do another show.
We'll do another show, and and behind you all the way. And anybody listening, please pledge loads of money if you can, or not loads, but whatever you can afford.
Exactly. Exactly. All the links are under every video, every streaming site. It's on libertytactics.co.uk. All the links to the fundraiser, you can hit that, it will take you directly there. If you don't want to pay fundraiser their little fee, when it goes in, you can just tick the box and say not this time or something. When they'll ask you to charge you £1 or something, just you can tick and just waiver that, so everything will just go to Public Child Protection Wales.
Fantastic, and well done, you guys. Gosh, you're amazing.
Check in, keep checking in with us, Sandi, through the night if you want a bit of entertainment.
I will definitely. Okay. Anyway,
take care, Sandi. Thank
Sandi.
you. God bless you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bless her heart.